When all is said and done, the one sole condition that makes spiritual happiness and preserves it is the absence of doubt. Five years ago, the Mobile Bay National Estuary Program Management Conference began implementation of Respect to Connect, a comprehensive conservation and management plan for Alabama's estuaries and coast. This plan represented a common vision for how we, as the coastal Alabama community, could make some headway toward promoting the wise stewardship of our access to water and open spaces, shorelines and beaches, fish and wildlife, heritage and culture, community and environmental resilience, and water quality. For it is these 6 values that contribute most to our coastal quality of life. With a clear understanding of the course before us, the Management Conference's biggest challenge is growing a community of believers who can and will change how we manage our land and water along the Alabama coast. The Management Conference focuses on changing beliefs by teaching communities about coastal processes and how to better manage the intersection between humans and the environment. Not an easy lift, but important in erasing doubt about our capacity to protect what we value most. In 2006, a group of community leaders approached the MBNEP about Lake Forest Lake filling with sediment. At the time, most assumed it was the construction of the new Bass Pro Shop complex, and few imagined it might be anything else. A watershed plan was initiated with hopes of big federal dollars saving the day. Before the plan was complete, earmarks were gone, the political climate had changed, and a major oil spill was spewing in the Gulf of Mexico. Estimates to fix the problems were in the tens of millions of dollars.
When we first sat down, they were talking about roughly $40 million, and that just seemed like an impossibility. Budget for the city of Daphne was probably in the $20 million range. You know, something that was going to be twice our annual budget was, beyond our ability to even comprehend. Mobile Bay National Estuary Program seemed to be nice, but a lot of people are nice, but they certainly had a heart for it, but they weren't even sure it would work.
The plan revealed that the Bass Pro Shop development was not the culprit of the tons of sediment in Lake Forest Lake. Rather, it was community growth. The increased volumes and velocities of water coursing through an intricate network of streams and creeks, coupled with steep slopes and highly erodible soils, caused severe erosion of stream banks, deepening of stream beds, and deposition of sediments downstream into the lake and D'Olive Bay.
I don't think there's any doubt that the genesis was Mobile Bay National Estuary Program as far as getting these parties to work together.
To date, MBNEP, Baldwin County, the cities of Daphne and Spanish Fort, and many private property owners have joined forces to complete over 11,000 linear feet of stream restoration and 44 acres of floodplain creation throughout the D'Olive watershed, with 2 more restorations slated to be completed soon. Both municipalities have updated their subdivision regulations and remain committed to improving how land and water are managed. After attempts to secure funding for a stream restoration project in the lower reaches of 3 Mile Creek, MBNEP turned towards development of a comprehensive plan for this watershed. Recognizing the Mobile Area Water and Sewer Service would be a key partner in this effort, MBNEP's biggest challenge was selling the watershed concept to the MWAS board, with very little to demonstrate the NEP's ability to deliver.
I never got the opportunity to go out into the woods. We didn't have Girl Scouts when I was growing up. It existed, but it did not exist in my neighborhood for me. So I depended on my father to take me out in nature and show me all of the importance of the animals. But that was not happening now. So to find out that you were trying to start something that would protect our environment now, I hate to tell you, I had board members who were thoroughly against funding this project. And I had to talk constantly to them about it to get them to take a chance on a new idea and a new approach to saving our environment.
Once upon a time, the creek was an important source of water for the city, But with post-World War II industrialization and community growth, the stream's water quality degraded. By the time the state of Alabama determined the creek's designated use, it met only the standard for agriculture and industry, the lowest of the state's use classifications. No wonder it was considered to be nothing more than a ditch.
If one person in the neighborhood to say, okay, this is the plan. We're not saying this plan is absolute. This is not necessarily a plan we will stick to forever, but at least we have a plan, and you can always improve on a plan. But to have a plan to change the lives of so many people, people like myself who just drive through the neighborhood and say, oh, I wish somebody would do something. And then you have a plan that is going to happen, that is actually doing something. That is important to me, to think about that. And the funders will come in if you have a plan. That's most important. 3 Mile Creek Watershed Plan is about to pop. And I'm excited about that. And to think about the Mobile Bay National Estuary Program is making that kind of impact on this neighborhood. Thank God for you.
Today, the 3 Mile Creek Watershed Plan is in full implementation. From the University of South Alabama and their work to improve stormwater management across the campus, to planned restoration of 12 Mile Creek by MBNEP in the city, to future dredging of Langan Park Lake, comprehensive invasive species management, Mobile County drainage improvements throughout Toolman's Spring Branch, to trash abatement throughout the watershed, the city and its partners are transforming 3 Mile Creek, tying together a series of community parks with 10 miles of trails and opportunities to celebrate Mobile, its environment, and its diverse heritage and culture. Through the years, Montlui Islanders have watched their land slowly disappear due to a mixture of wave energy, boat wakes, and shifting winds. In 2009, MBNEP began hosting community meetings to educate Doubtful Island residents about the latest shoreline science in hopes of slowing the erosion. While watershed planning typically involves crossing geopolitical boundaries, the goal of this effort was to test a natural stabilization technique crossing multiple property lines.
One day, Tom Herter called me. He talked about the Living Shoreline Project, and I came to a meeting down here at the church, and we discussed it and talked about how important it would be, and even talked about how we needed to start it at the north end of Montlui Island, which is this point, in order for it to work. But things happened, and next thing you know, they were working down in the middle of the island.
With 6 contiguous neighbors hesitantly agreeing to undertake the project, rock headland breakwaters and pocket beaches were installed, successfully pinning the beach in place. However, the NEP did not give up and sought funding to revisit the community's desire to address the erosion at the northern tip of the island.
So when he called back, I said, Tom, I'm not interested in, I want to see something done that's going to actually help and work. Even when I said, no, Tom, I'm not interested in signing anything else. Y'all not going to do anything. Give it up. He wouldn't do it. He kept trying. And I liked Tom. And so I'd sign the paper again. And the result is what we see now.
What seemed like a no-brainer, to dredge the mouth of the river and use that material to restore over 4 acres of marsh on the tip, was not so simple. The material in the mouth of the river was silty, so finding suitable sandy material for marsh creation became a treasure hunt. It was the creative thinking of Nate Lovelace, an operations manager at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, that saved the day. Sediment from an adjacent Corps marsh disposal site was used to restore the marsh. The navigation channel was dredged, important to the Foul River community, and the material from the channel refilled the hole left in the bay. Today, the tip of Montlui Island not only provides an added level of protection to the salt marsh on its lee side, it serves as a welcome spot for recreational fishermen chasing bait for a day on the water. The restored marsh is maturing ahead of schedule, and the island community looks forward to future opportunities to protect the integrity of this western shore.
This is here today because of Roberta, Tom, NEP, totally committed, wouldn't give up. I don't know how many tries we made or they made, but I would guess 7 or so different tries, and it just, nothing was working. And so to look at it today, it's a tribute to them and to that persistence. It certainly paid off.
On Montauk Island, the community relationship building came before MBNEP started developing comprehensive watershed plans, but the process is the same: consistent and persistent engagement to build trust and empower the community. Respect the Connect provided the MBNEP Management Conference with a playbook to ensure consistent attention is paid to coastal environmental status and trends, comprehensive watershed management plans guide scientifically based restoration efforts, community capacity is built to address the factors causing the degradation in the first place, and citizen involvement is sustained through education, support for grassroots groups, and volunteer science. Again, not an easy lift, but imperative to real community participation in coastal restoration, protection, and management.
Obviously, if we don't take care of what's important to us, we're going to lose it. And today, I think that's the underlying theme that I've realized. We have something very unique and special here. What more must we do to preserve it, enhance it, and keep it stronger, and make sure we're able to see the benefit of it for not just us, but for generations and future generations to come? Because what we have here is tremendous.